And welcome to Wild Bill's Media and the Arts Podcast. Today we're going to talk about Eyster Horror Show. Now, this was an album released by the band. Some people call them power metal, some of them call it thrash, some of them just call them just a heavy metal band. The Horror Show was released June 26, 2001. Now, I don't know why it has taken me so long to actually talk about this record, because this is probably my favorite Iced Earth record of all time. One of the reasons being that it was the album that I discovered the band Iced Earth. And I'm trying to make a long story short, but back in 2001, I can't remember. I know it was after the album was released, so it had to have been anywhere from around like July to towards the end of 2001. Anyway, I had kept seeing an advertisement in one of the heavy metal magazines about an album called Horror Show by Iced Earth, and this was the actual picture that they had. It was the album cover, but it was blown up in like a full page advertisement or whatever. It said new album by Iced Earth, and it may have had, I think it had maybe a couple of track songs on it or something. Anyway, and I was just, I loved the cover, and I just thought it was really cool looking, and I was like, I might have to check that out, because at the time I was still a huge horror movie fan. It was something I got into, I think, towards my later teens. It was I'm not really a big horror movie fan now, because I just think a lot of this stuff is kind of junk. But I mean, I'll still watch stuff like Halloween, Friday the 13th, and Nightmare on Elm Street, and some of the other stuff, and of course, the cult classics that have always been on. Anyway, so like I said, I was a huge fan of horror movies at the time, and so it was kind of a no-brainer. And then one day I was in a mall, and somewhere in North Carolina, and I was in like an independent record store, and I saw this album, and it was on CD, so I grabbed it. And I grabbed another album called Something Wicked This Way Comes. I paid for it, and I left the store, went back out to my car. My father was in the mall too, looking around at something. I think there might have been a Sears in there. I think he was in Sears or something. But anyway, I took it out. I actually had my Discman with me. Yeah, a Discman. So I had my Discman with me, and I put this album in, and I hit play. And by the time the first song was over with, I was hooked, and I hadn't even heard the second song. But I had just had to, and I'm sorry, I'm kind of losing what I was going to say here. But I just had to get this because, like I said, I was a huge horror fan. But this album also came with a bonus CD that was an interview done by John Schaefer. He was being interviewed by a guy, I can't remember his name now, but anyway. So basically, he was talking about how the concept of this album came across, and what the songs were based on, and where he got the ideas from the songs and everything. But I want to give you kind of a quick overview of this album. Okay, here's the actual CD. I know you may not can see that really well because it looks almost blurry. But you open up the CD, open up the thing. There's the CD, and there's the actual cover of the booklet. You open up the booklet, and the first page has a picture of some of the monsters in there, or whatever, and then it has a bunch of lyrics and a picture of each one of the monsters that the song is about. And from what I got out of the interview, this album was based on pretty much all horror movies and some horror literature. I'm gonna read you the tracks off. It's the first track is a wolf, followed by Damien, followed by Jack, Ghost of Freedom, Imhotep, The Pharaoh's Curse, Jekyll and Hyde, Dragon's Child, Frankenstein, Dracula, and the Phantom Opera Ghost. And on the second disc, the interview disc, it has a bonus track, and it is the instrumental of the song Transylvania, originally done by Iron Maiden. But basically, the songs on here are taken from, I'll give you, for instance, The Wolf is taken from the Universal movie The Wolf Man. Damien is basically taken from the Omen trilogy. Jack, I'm not really sure if that's from a movie or a book. And then the song Ghost of Freedom is basically has to do with the horror theme, other than it has ghost in the title, and it's about a ghost of a soldier who comes back to protect not only his family but future soldiers that fight in wars in America. And then Imhotep is basically based on the Mummy, and Jekyll and Hyde is based on Jekyll and Hyde. Dragon's Child is kind of a concept that has to do with from the creature, the Black Lagoon. That's kind of basically what that's about. And then, of course, Frankenstein is taken from the original Frankenstein with Boris Karloff. Dracula was basically based more on the Bram Stoker's Dracula, the movie. And, of course, the Phantom of the Opera was based on the movie Phantom of the Opera. The thing I love about this song or this album is just that it's just so dynamic, and it has a lot of great music on it. Probably my two favorite songs off this whole album is Damien and Dracula, and they're so well done that they bring you into. You can see yourself as Damien. You can see yourself as Dracula. And it's true with any of these songs on here. They're just so well done and so well crafted. But being, like I said, a big movie fan or horror movie fan at the time, this was a no-brainer for me. It is, to me, I think, one of my favorite albums just because of the concept and the artwork and the cover. And basically the cover, from what I got from the interview, is a character set, a character that's created by John Schaefer of Ice. And he's over the haunted mansion, and he's basically raising the dead from the grave or whatever. And you could kind of see the hand and the crosses in the haunted mansion and set, right there on the cover. But I love it because it's just so diverse in the songs and how they're put together. And I love it's a whole broad spectrum of not just like monsters, but like actual real people. You take, for instance, like the song Jack. based off Jack the Ripper. I mean, that's that's pretty cool. And then, like I said, you know, Dracula, which is based more off of Bram Stoker's, which I kind of understand the movie a little bit more by listening to the song, and I understand the song a little bit more by listening to the movie or watching the movie. I mean, although I will say that I don't think um, that Bram Stoker's Dracula is one of my favorite adaptations of Dracula. I just give you kind of a thing. I think the movie's kind of drug out. I think it's kind of boring in parts, and I just don't like the way they done Dracula with Gary Oldman. How he looked, it made you look like he was some kind of like. Because if you kind of look at it, the way it was supposed to go, Dracula doesn't age, and in Bram Stoker's Dracula, it made it look like he was like an old man, kind of, and not the young warrior that he was when he first became Dracula. And that's why I'm not a big fan of the way they done that in this movie. Um, there's several different um, adaptations of Dracula out there and that I like more. And the one cool thing I love about Dracula is Dracula doesn't have to be a certain person. He can be, whoever you want him to be. And I want to do a episode here coming up soon of like 3 or 4 of the Dracula movies to talk about them and give you my thoughts and my opinions on and pick the ones I like best. But anyway, going on like Frankenstein, it's just I don't know that there's ever been like a modern version of Frankenstein done. I would like to see that. If there is, I haven't seen it or I haven't watched. Um, so I know there was been a few werewolf movies. I think there was one here, like I think it was like in the '90s or early 2000s. I think it was just called Wolf. Jack Nicholson in it, which was I think it had Michelle Pfeiffer in it too. It was pretty good. Uh, but basically, I just wanted to say that um, this album, if you're a horror movie fan and you're into metal music, I'd say give it a listen because it just brings you to a different world and a different take and maybe a different look at the characters through someone else's eyes, which is pretty cool. And it's I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain other than just if you love that kind of thing, check it out. Me myself, I think it's up there with just about any metal album out there. I love it, and I actually wish bands would do more kind of stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? But I guess it's kind of just a niche thing. It's something that maybe some artists would do maybe it's a special deal because maybe stuff like this just don't really sell. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, but that is cool. And like I said, the album is 12 songs. And I was going to say too. I meant to say the last song on the track, "Phantom of the Ghost," is actually a duet, and the way they do that song is just so killer, and it has become one of probably ranks up there with me on the album, songs off the album with Dracula and Damien, and probably fourth would be Frankenstein. They're just killer songs. So yeah, that's basically pretty much about it. But I just wanted to say, if you're interested or if you're just kind of interested, check it out. I think it'd be really cool. I think you'd enjoy it. And if you're a horror movie fan, I know you dig this. But anyway, that's basically all I wanted to really talk about today was Ice Earth's horror show. But you, um, and if you get a chance, pick up John Schaefer's Purgatory. You would like that album too. It's more based on horror songs and stuff. Different versions of like Dracula and In Jason's Mind, which is based on Jason. There's one called In Your Dreams, which is based on Friday the 13th. And there's a Jack the Ripper song on there. So yeah, you would love this album. You'd like it too. But and for those of you who are Iced Earth fans or just getting into Iced Earth, and you happen to find Iced Earth through the Matt Barlow era of the band. Matt Barlow is the vocalist on this band, on this album. So yeah, he he done a killer job with this album, vocal wise. I think that's one thing that makes this album stand out. But that's all I've got for you today. So yep, check this out. Go out and get it if you can. I think they have it on Amazon. You can grab it there. If you can find the 2-disc version, I recommend that. But you can only find the 1-disc. And I wanted to say one other thing before I go. Some of the 1-disc versions now actually have the bonus track of Transylvania from Iron Maiden on the 1-disc set. And if you can find the 2-disc set, it's the first track on the second disc, which contains the interview, and you'll find out a lot more about the album and everything, the artwork, and all that. So this is Wild Bill signing out of Wild Bill's Media and the Arts podcast. I just want to say thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and have an awesome day. Thank you.